oh boy, that was a tough watch. That was a tough watch. Juventus have been knocked out of the Club World Cup. Juventus have got themselves a month and a half to address things, get them in order once the Serie A campaign starts. And one of the things they have to address is the 3-4-3 is not working. It's not working. It worked against Wydad Casablanca. It worked against El Ain, relatively poorer opposition. But when it comes to the good teams, it's a system that doesn't work. Now, let me explain to you guys why, in my opinion, it doesn't work. And let me explain to you guys why a lot of top managers across the world love the back three system. For example, Juventus just came up against the Xabi Alonso Real Madrid, who played with a back three. Why does every manager love the back three? Here we go. When you play with a back three, it allows you to have two wide centre-halves. The two wide centre-halves in possession practically become your temporary makeshift midfielders, because your midfielders step up into the offensive zone. Your two centre-halves, your two wide centre-halves, they push forward to occupy that central zone. It allows you to suffocate the opposition. It allows you to sustain pressure. And that's why they always say, if you want to play a back three system, 1, you need to have ball playing centre-halves. 2, you need to have yourself centre-halves that can step up into midfield. Prime example, today against Juventus, Xabi Alonso made one tactical switch at halftime. And I'll be honest, in my opinion, it gave Real Madrid the edge. In the first half, Tchouaméni was playing in the centre of the three. Now, if you're the central centre-half, you don't really step up into midfield. But Tchouaméni is a midfielder by trade. So all Xabi Alonso done was at halftime, moved Tchouaméni from the centre, put him to the right side and told him from now on, you start stepping into midfield. It created that central overload. It minimised the amount of times Kenan Yildiz would get onto the ball, because now Kenan has to track him. He's on Kenan. One change. Imagine, all it takes is one player to step into midfield, and it changes the whole dynamic of the game. Now, let me explain to you guys why it's not working at Juventus. This is why it's not working at Juventus. Juventus, yes, it's 3-4-2-1 on paper, but in reality, let's be honest, when we sit down and watch the game, this is how Juventus deploy the 3-4-2-1. They get the ball, Locatelli automatically drops 20-30 yards to pick up the ball from Di Gregorio, whether it's from Kalulu, Kelly, or Rugani. Whoever it is, Locatelli drops. It moves away from being a back three. It becomes a back four, okay? Cambiasso is out wide, Costa is out wide, Kenan, Conceição, Colomwani, they're all ahead. Locatelli's dropped in to make it a back four, and then you've got Kefram Turam in the centre, all alone, nobody next to him. You're asking him to cover an island in the centre of the park, the size of Barbados, okay? The size of Barbados. He's just there in the centre. You know what? Sometimes people don't like these little boards that I put up. Let me show you an in-game photo just to break it down for you guys. Is this not what I just showed you? Look at Locatelli. Locatelli is in a centre-half position. Thuram all alone in midfield. Nobody within 10 yards to his left, to his right, or ahead of him. This is why Juventus struggle playing out of the back. And this is why Juventus, even when they do play out of the back, it's never ever a consistent 3-4-2-1. So they never ever benefit consistently from the benefits of the 3-4-2-1. Am I beginning to make sense? Or am I just like an Arab losing his head in 35 degrees of heat? Okay? That's why it's not working, okay? I need to calm down. That's why the 3-4-2-1 is not working. And this isn't me pinning anything on Igor Tudor. This is basically just me. Scrap it, bro. This is just me pinning stuff on the Juventus board. If you appoint a coach that wants to play a 3-4-2-1, regardless of his principles, whether it's a 3-4-2-1 possession base, whether it's 3-4-2-1 gegenpressing, whether it's 3-4-2-1 compact, if you want to play 3-4-2-1, one of the key components of it is having yourself a solid trio. Okay, you'd have yourself a solid trio defensively, a solid trio playing out of the back, and a solid trio that's comfortable in possession, stepping into opposition territory. I'm so sorry, man. I'm gonna be so real. Kalulu ain't it in the back three. Rugani ain't it in the back three. Lloyd Kelly just ain't it, whether it's 4-4-2, 3-4-2-1, okay? Bremer is that guy, because I'll be honest with you guys, I've seen Bremer play in the back three even when he was at Torino. Juventus need to get themselves a left-sided centre-half and a right-sided half. That is essential. That is essential. Now, it's reported that they're finally beginning to break some ground with Jonathan David. That is very, 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 very good. They need to get themselves two centre-halves. If not, scrap 3-4-2-1, go back to a 4-3-3, because at least then, it's beginning to make sense, at least then, when Locatelli would drop deep to pick up the ball, you got yourself two midfielders. I need to calm down. Okay? Do you see where I'm coming from? Like they always tell you in football, win the midfield battle. If you don't win the midfield battle, 9 times out of 10, you don't win the game. You can't win a midfield battle when, one, you've already got yourself 3 centre-halves. Now, they always tell you, when you play with 3 centre-halves, you practically sacrifice a midfielder. So Juventus have already, 1, sacrificed the midfielder to play 3 at the back. 2, they're sacrificing another midfielder because he's a midfielder that's having to drop deep to progress play because they don't have ball progressing centre-halves. Juventus are going into games with 1 midfielder, and it's Thuram. And I feel so sorry for him. I genuinely feel so sorry for him because every time he gets the ball, he can't do much with it. He can't progress it. It was a tough watch tactically. I'll be honest with you guys. But in terms of the game, now that I've got my little tantrum out of the way, Juventus, they started off well. I'll be honest with you guys. And do you guys want to know why, in my opinion? A few years ago, I experienced a very, very, very sad day. If Kolo Muani was a killer in front of goal, like a silent assassin, lethal, prolific, clinical, I would be the happiest guy on earth. Do you want to know why I would be the happiest guy on earth? Because Messi would have never won the World Cup. Messi would have never won the World Cup if Kolo Muani scored that opportunity in the final. But he missed. Just like he missed today, okay? I love Kolo Muani. And I'll be honest with you guys, outside of that miss, each to their own, I think he had a very good game. I'll be honest with you guys. The amount of times he was holding up the ball, dropping deep, the flicks and trick. I'll be honest with you guys. Outside of ball striking, outside of finishing, I can comfortably turn around and tell you guys that was an 9 out of 10 performance from Kolo Muani. But the problem is, as a striker, you're digging your own grave if we start sitting down and praising strikers for pressing, holding up the ball, connecting the dots. But when it comes to goal scoring opportunities, they miss. It doesn't work. And I've always said, goal scoring is the bread and the butter. Goal scoring is your priority job. Everything else is a bonus. Kolo Muani, he brings the bonuses, but he doesn't bring the food home. You see what I mean? He brings the chips without the steak. He brings the apple pie without the custard. Do you see what I mean? Like, it's just not making sense. He brings the baklava without the tea. That's where the issue is with somebody like Kolo Muani. And maybe that's just why Juventus are looking at somebody like Jonathan David. Yeah, besides that, I'll be honest with you guys, like they had themselves a good opportunity. They missed it. They didn't take it. Didn't really create much. Substitutions were very, 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 very weird in my opinion. Like, the game was practically done on the 60th minute. As soon as I saw Kostic and Nico Gonzalez, I knew I was just watching this game for vibes, I'll be real. And they didn't really do much. Then 10 minutes later, the icing on the cake was Coop Miners coming on for Kenan Yildiz. Juventus have got themselves, I believe the Serie A campaign starts towards the end of August. Juventus have got themselves a month and a half, okay, to address things. The transfer window is open. Time to sell. Time to recruit. I'm not really in the business of, it didn't work out the first season, give them another go. I'll be honest with you guys. Juventus should look at the Club World Cup as an extension to the Serie A. That's how I look at it. Or shall we say an early pre-season. I feel like any team in the Club World Cup has benefited so much financially, but I feel like they've benefited so much in terms of knowing what's required of them in terms of squad building before the transfer window opens, because the transfer window officially has just opened. Is it the 1st of July today? I don't know, but it's just opened, okay? If I was Igor Tudor, I'd be like, listen, I saw you guys in this area. Yeah, it was 8-9 games. But now I've gotten to see you guys in the Club World Cup. And I've given the majority of you guys opportunities. And I'll be real. Nobody's really stood out for me that at the end of the Serie A campaign, I was petitioning for to be sold. Coop Miners hasn't impressed me. Nico Gonzalez hasn't impressed me. Dusan Vlahovic, I went from a fan to a hater, okay? Like, who else? All of the centre-halves, besides Kalulu, in my opinion, should be moved on. Juventus have got themselves a month and a half to address things, get the ball rolling, go out, make some signings, make sure they're all prepared and ready for pre-season. Because at least that way you give Tudor an opportunity to go into a pre-season camp where the results don't matter, but he can begin to grow his team, begin to implement his philosophy. But if the primary aim is Juventus are looking to get themselves just 1 centre-half and they're not looking to get themselves 2, then with all due respect, scrap the 3-4-2-1. It's just my opinion. I'll be honest with you guys. If you're not going to get yourself 3 solid centre-halves, scrap the 3-4-2-1 because it will be a mayhem. It will be mayhem. Next season, there'll be games where it does well. The 3-4-2-1, if you're not going to utilise it to its strengths, then you're practically putting yourself at a disadvantage because you've sacrificed the midfielder for an extra centre half. But if the centre halves can't defend and they can't play out of the back, you lose defensive security and you lose midfield control. It's all beginning to make sense. I'm hot. I'll be honest with you guys. If you're new, make sure to like, make sure to subscribe, and I will catch you guys on another one.